This is the S&P 500 Spider ETF SPY one-day reading for July 5th, 2024. It's currently May 26, 2024, 8:02 p.m. Eastern Time. SPY at the time of this reading, $529.44. That's USD. The shuffle video for the July 5th reading was created on May 23rd, 2024 at 10:55 p.m. Eastern Time. That's a video playing for you in the lower left corner. The overall theme and behavior for SPY on the 5th, we have at some point here in the day, I think probably in the pre-market, we have this big move that we reach for a distant resistance. So there should really be a significant move to the upside here on the 5th. Probably like a gap up over the holiday, and then a notable move to the upside in the pre-market. Overall, I think we probably have a bullish day, but there's a big move. Look for that big move reaching for a distant resistance. Behavior around the highest high, we have an overbought crest that we sell off from through multiple support levels. Behavior around the lowest low, we come up against the bottom of an important range on a multi-day scale here. Usually when you see it in a high or a low significator position, it's indicating that we're bound by that range. Well, obviously we're bound by that range, right? And then I'm advised to trade around a rally along a diagonal trend line that ends with a fast sudden fire, and then a breakdown through that diagonal trend line with increasing volatility on the way down. Now, I'm going to get into the hour-by-hour chart behavior as well as timing the highs, the lows, and the best trade opportunities. But before I do that, I just want to make sure you're aware. The whole purpose of the channel is to transmute some of the competitive energy of the stock market into goodwill. We do that by following the rule of karma for the channel. You go to the resources tab of our website, Tarot for Traders, and 5% of the profits from every profitable trade utilizing this information should be donated forward to one of these charities, or pick a charity of your choosing as long as you're paying 5% forward, and then 5% should be sent back to the channel through one of these links. If you're international, you can use Wise or you can use YouTube Tips, and that leaves you at 90%. Make sure to spend that 90% out of love. As long as you follow those rules, you follow the rule of karma for the channel, the universe considers you an angel investor. It's going to send it back to you tenfold for following through. Blessings to all my angel investors. Let's get back into it. In the pre-market, there's that big move to the upside, reaching for distant resistance. It's not necessarily an opportunity. I mean, often the Ace of Wands is an opportunity to open up a short position, but it's a little tricky here, guys. I still see a lot of price swinging and like sidewaysy stuff, so I might avoid that trade. But right at the open, there's a decline to and through support to meet another support, and then we rotate sideways along that support for a bit. Out of that decline, which in the first half hour, there should be a low for the day. Out of that decline, we have a big move from the bottom of a range to the top of a range, and that takes us to a peak just before 10 o'clock, where we then decline pretty notably, revisiting a support level that we recently met, maybe the same low, by maybe just a few minutes after 11. And then there's some pretty notable price swings here because we've got a high around 11:30, and then another trade opportunity down at a trough somewhere between 12 and 1 o'clock. At another low for the day, and then out of that low there's a fast sudden move higher taking us back to another trade opportunity. I'm going to get into this in more detail in a moment. There and at another peak, not a high but a peak, which we then decline through multiple support levels between roughly 1 and 2 off of that peak. Decline continues, increasing with momentum, and then at some point there's a rally into a peak here, a near overbought crest or peak. Very likely this is the highest high for the day. If it's not the highest high for the day, then the highest high was here between roughly around 11:30. But I think it's probably here on the base at the end of the day, based on the strong thematic congruency and the correlation between these two cards. But we sell off of that overbought peak down through multiple supports into a key support. And there's a trade opportunity, it looks like, to open up a short position in the following day. We'll talk about that obviously when we get to the 8th. The way that I would trade this, all right, so after we meet that low in that like first half hour, I'd open up a long position here when we decline to and through support to meet another support, and then we rotate sideways along that support. When we're rotating sideways along that support, that's where I would look to open up the long position at a low for the day. And then there's this big move from the bottom of the range to the top of the range, taking us to a peak here around 10. You could close out of that long position for a quick day trade there. Another low here midday, or maybe it's that low might be a little bit before 12, it's possible. But when we hit that low again, I would open up another long position. You can close that long position after a fast sudden move higher, taking us into another peak there between roughly around the 1 o'clock. And for whatever reason, this high isn't the trade opportunity, so it's probably because there's a lot of price swinging going on here. It might be too tricky, and you're better off expecting a higher price level on the 8th. That's SPY for July 5th, 2024. Let me know what you think by hitting that like button. As always, make sure to follow that rule of karma. You know where to go. You know what to do. We're counting on you here at Tarot for Traders. Blessings to all my angel investors. I'll see you guys on the free Discord channel. Everybody else, I'll see you guys on the next one.